Hi everyone, it's Leslie Typerin, and I just was inspired to share about my experience going to Austin to work with Melissa yesterday for my half-day retreat as part of the Art of Entrepreneurship program that I'm currently doing with her for the next 3 months, or 2 months. It's been almost a month now, I guess. And so much shifted in, I don't know, 4 hours. It felt like I was there for 3 days, but it was really only 4 hours. I flew here from Dallas down to Austin for the day, and wow, like, I'm a little nervous right now, so trying to get used to this video thing. And it was just so much more than I ever could have imagined. You know, I thought in my mind, right, like the thinking mind here is, I'm going to Austin and we're going to outline my business and exactly what I'm going to do. And we did that, but we did it in such a creative way that when I came home, I felt like, oh my gosh, like I answered so many questions for myself and gained so much clarity, yet we did it in a really creative and fun way. I have like this big, all these sheets of paper, and I was writing with marker and was flipping it over, and we were looking at my collage, and I was painting, and we were talking, and I was jumping up and she was jumping up, and you know, it was like, we did a little cheerleading yesterday. That's what we decided. And you know, part of what I really got out of yesterday was that I really do have all the answers and everything that I require. Melissa was just there to help me sort of like coax it out and, you know, put it into form. And, you know, I still have a lot to do around it, but it's really exciting because it feels like when we were talking yesterday about, you know, a potential, my first program, it's like I got so excited. Like I could feel, you know, you could just feel the energy kind of rushing through your body, and it's like, oh, that's the word. And I was writing things down, and you know, today is really going to be kind of an organizing day because I kind of have a million thoughts all over the place, and some paintings I had started before I left, and after coming back now I realize, you know, kind of what the paintings were trying to tell me, and the wisdom that they were trying to impart. And you know, this big thing that came up yesterday around the whole inner family, Melissa did a video on it, and it was really this idea of, for me, really nourishing myself. And you know, that's a big part of what I'm here to do with other women, is, you know, help them really nourish themselves and provide that safe space for them so that they can feel like they are really able to express themselves. And I think at the end of the day, that's all of us really want, is to feel safe and loved, and that we are able to really truly express ourselves. And the fact that now I have this platform and this vehicle to share that with other people is, I can't even describe to you, like, it brings tears to my eyes. Yeah, really grateful. You know, Melissa is she's a really powerful woman, and you know, she's able to hold that space for you. So if you've considered, hi Sophie, and I love all the hearts, thank you. I don't know who's out there, but I appreciate it. You know, so if you were, I wanted to do this testimonial really from Melissa because, you know, when I first found her, which was like this whole, you know, universal synchronicities, of course, you know, I was really on the fence for 2 or 3 months. Like, do I commit to the program? I'm really scared. I'm terrified, not scared, terrified. And you know what, the way that she was able to hold that space, you know, and keep in contact with me and really work with me through the process, even before I committed to working with her, showed me that she's going to show up, that she's going to be there when I need her, and need that sort of guidance and experience that she has, and kind of those ways of those beautiful questions she kind of pokes you with, like, she said to me, which I think was really the thing that got me to commit to the program. She said, what are you really committed to in your life? And I thought, well, I keep saying I want to create this business around my art and sharing with women and all of these things, yet I was not making it a priority. So I think that was one of the things that really did that. And she said, don't worry. She's like, I have your back. She's like, for whatever you need, I have your back. And I was like, oh, wait, I can be supported through this whole process, which was a really amazing thing. And that's what it was yesterday. It was like just complete support and excitement, and someone in your corner kind of saying to you, you can do this. Like, we're gonna work through it. We're like, if anything came up, like a lot of stuff yesterday came up for me around forgiveness and anger. And, I don't need to go into all the details, but I realized that I had sort of been skipping over that part because I spent so much of my time trying not to be angry and trying really to be a happier person, be a more loving person, which are all fabulous things, except you can't bypass the anger part and the resentment part. So, we talked about one of the things for my, is really like shattering this whole myth of, we can't be angry. We, as women, can't be too loud. We can't be too happy. We can't be too creative. It's like we're kind of just giving ourselves permission to live on this really, I don't know the words for it, but not reaching our full potential. And this is something I had felt a couple months ago. Like, I woke up one morning and I thought, oh my gosh, I have been living my life to 30 or maybe 40% of my full capacity. And I was considering that like a pretty good life. And it is. I mean, I have a great family and a home and all of those good things. But it wasn't fulfilling on a really soul level. So anyway, yesterday, making all these little connections, just kind of set me in this new trajectory. And I can't even tell you when I got home last night. I was so energized and fired up, and all of these thoughts and things were coming in, and I'm writing them down on the plane, and I'm writing before I went from the airport to my house in my car, I stopped and I had to write stuff down, and I woke up this morning and I had dreams and I had to write it down. And there was this really great post by Glennon Doyle, and I think I posted it on my website, about anger and how, anger makes people uncomfortable. And we're not supposed to be angry because angry isn't nice, right? Angry isn't allowed. And so, it's this whole idea of being able to, tap into that anger and really transforming it, which Melissa helped so much with through one of, a few of her processes yesterday for me. And I'm still, this painting in the background back here, started before I went to see Melissa, and now I'm having this urge to go and work with it more today. And it's all about this idea of anger and resentment and forgiveness, and transforming it into really your own medicine, right? Your own wisdom. And that's really what I got yesterday, is that I have this deep wisdom from all of my own experiences in life, and this intense emotions that I feel that I have not in the past fully expressed, because it was too much. It was too much for people. It was too much for me. It was too much for my parents. It was, too much for my husband, too much for my kids, because a lot of times it came out in frustration or impatience or anger. And that's because I wasn't, working with it and transforming it. So, it's all energy, which I'm super excited about, because, that means I got a lot of energy. And to be able to use this in a very creative, productive way to, my intention is to really elicit change. And, how we as women show up fully we talk about this idea of fully expressed, and so what does that mean? I think that's a little bit different for every person. But for me, it's really this idea of sharing. How can I do that? I really love this idea of women sharing their stories with other women and their wisdom, because we all have that to share with each other. And so there's something around that whole idea of like storytelling, and my husband always, he'll probably kill me if I say this, but he always kind of makes fun of me a little bit. He's like, oh my gosh, you take so long to get to the point. He's like, can I just have the abridged version? But for me, part of that storytelling process is bringing in all of those, senses, the touch and the smell, and, what were you wearing, and what does it smell like, and what does, what's around you, this whole idea of this, it's like using your full imagination in describing your stories. And within that, you kind of relive it and are able to get new wisdom and gain new wisdom from that. And I think it's really important that we start sharing those things with each other, because I feel like a little bit of that has been missing, because we're kind of busy, and people say we don't have time to do those things anymore. So I don't know, maybe I'll start having story time or something. But anyways, this is getting really long. But I have enjoyed sharing my experience. Happy to answer any questions that any of you might have in regards to, especially if you're on the fence to committing with working with Melissa. I will say, hands down, one of the best decisions of my entire life, truly. And we haven't even gotten through the whole program, so I can only imagine. And it's something that was really funny. I went to this health, and I'll kind of leave you guys with this health and wellness festival we had here this past weekend. And one of my favorite things is oracle cards, to pick different oracle cards. And, they give you these little great insights and little confirmations from the universe. So anyways, I found these beautiful cards. I'm just going to show you guys this, see if you can see these vintage wisdom oracle cards. And I thought they were so magical. I've never seen them before. And, they kind of just spoke to me. So I had to have them. And so today I thought, as part of my ritual, really, starting to have more rituals around my creative time, because one of the things that came up yesterday is really honoring my creativity and the inspirations that I have. And so as part of that, when I step into my art space, which is now my garage, you guys can all see that I'm sweating because it is so hot here. Until I have a more permanent art space, it's like, okay, what are these rituals that I can create so that when I enter from my house into the garage, I know that, I'm entering into my own creative, sacred space. And so one of these things was, picking an oracle card. I think that's a big part of it, along with, other things with crystals and incense and, I literally putting on different shoes. I decided, a different pair of flip-flops, not shoes, but flip-flops. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you guys, because I realized yesterday after being with Melissa too, she said a very nice, it was like a scene, a scene in a story, a scene in a movie, so that there was a really great, safe, powerful space to do this work. So the first card, as I was shuffling my new deck, that popped up was this one. Of course, because, this whole thing around abundance is so huge right now, and really understanding it from a much deeper level. Hi, Kathleen. Thanks for joining. I was just talking about my day with Melissa yesterday, so you can go back and listen to the whole video if you haven't been here for very long. But I thought I'd just read really fast a couple of parts from this idea of abundance. This card calls you to reflect on the abundance already in your possession. Be thankful for all you have and be open to receiving more goodness in your life. And that was really something that Melissa and I talked a lot about yesterday, and we have been talking about in this group, is this idea of receiving and how can we receive more. It may be your turn to enjoy the fruits of your labor and the harvest of hard-earned efforts, or perhaps you are currently looking for ways to increase the flow of abundance into your life. From a practical perspective, decluttering helps you value what you already have and creates an empty space so more abundance can follow. And, you know, that's something I've been playing with a little bit, is like, you know, cleaning out my art space and making it really, not all nice and neat, but just things that I don't need, or if there's trash laying around or old rags or anything like that, you know, making it feel like it's a really important sacred space. But then I thought the best thing, this whole card, was forgiveness plays a vital role in decluttering the emotions. By releasing the past, we liberate ourselves. Freed from the gravity of weighty karmic efforts, we reconnect with the light, abundant flow of unconditional love. How wonderful. And that's what it was. Like yesterday, there was a lot of forgiveness that, you know, I gave myself. Still working on that, but, you know, it's a start. And also, you know, with other people in my life. And I honestly had not connected that aspect of this idea of abundance and having more room in our lives to receive abundance and create abundance, and you know, keep that energy flow open. So I hope this was helpful, and Melissa, I love you. Great, you know, just an absolutely like perfect, wonderful day. So hope this helped you guys, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.